We think that discipline curtails freedom. The real truth is discipline is what gives you the freedom to live your life in the best manner. So while a lot of people say, because I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, I have enough number of hours to do whatever I like so that when I go into my work hours, I'm far more grounded, composed and able to give. Snehi is saying, hi Puja ma'am, how to feel that wholeness within. I always seek for love, relationships, which means I don't feel whole and complete, and that's why I need another person to love me. Snehi, for you to just know this fact in itself shows me how evolved you are, darling. So definitely there is a certain amount of evolved energy in you. Having said that, for me, the wholeness comes from 2-3 things. One is sitting in my silence and giving myself that approval, that appreciation, that acknowledgement that I'm seeking from the world. So see if you can start to say things to yourself that you'd love to hear from the world. Remember, the brain actually doesn't know who's saying it. You can actually just keep saying it to yourself, and that pot, that emptiness inside of us that lives will start to get filled up. So start to say things like, wow, Puja, you're doing such a fabulous job. You're helping so many people. If let's say I want to hear this from other people, then this is what I will say to myself. From my husband, what is it I want to hear? I'll say that to myself. From my children, what do I want to hear? I will say that to myself. And I will become my biggest cheerleader. When you start to do that, there's a certain amount of completeness that starts to come automatically. That's one of the ways where how I complete or make myself whole. Another way is to keep yourself right. So what does right mean? In any situation when I am with someone, instead of joining them in the kachra that they are creating, if I can keep my frequency slightly higher, I feel more whole. Okay? Discipline. Any sort of discipline, the more disciplined you are in your life, there's a wholeness that starts to come. We think that discipline curtails freedom. The real truth is discipline is what gives you the freedom to live your life in the best manner. So while a lot of people say, because I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, I have enough number of hours to do whatever I like so that when I go into my work hours, I'm far more grounded, composed and able to give, right? Now, that is giving to me. For some people, be like, oh my God, 4:30 in the morning you wake up. When do you sleep? How do you catch up on your sleep? Don't you get tired by midday? So we think that discipline, routines and rituals are tying us down. Honestly, it's the exact opposite. The more routines, the more rituals, the more you have in your life that gives you control, the more the things that you can't control, you become comfortable with sitting and being in your waiting. A lot of in life, we have to build a lot of patience towards what we are waiting, when we are waiting for our desires to come to us. So control what you can control so that you can leave to God what needs to come to you. When you start to doing these 2-3 things, you will start to see a wholeness that starts to get built in your personality. Misty Dust 21. How to be more vulnerable with people without having the fear of being judged? Beautiful question, Misty Dust, because you know what? When we are vulnerable with people, the fear is of judgment. That is why we are not vulnerable. So it's all about being vulnerable to a certain extent to check, are these the kind who will be judging us or are they open? Now, if they are the judging variety, remember, being vulnerable with the wrong people will actually make you feel shame. Okay, so you reveal a secret of yours to someone and you feel judged, you will move into shame. You don't want to move into shame, so you always have to check. Okay, always have to check that, okay, am I in a situation or with someone who I can trust? So first you wait and take your time to trust people before you become vulnerable to them, right? So let's say you have a diamond in your house. Will you keep it in the dining table and go off? What will you do? You will put it in the safe, right? Who all will have the number of your safe? People whom you trust, correct? So you've taken the time. The same way, your vulnerability is your own diamond. You don't want to expose it to everyone. You want to expose it to the right people, because by exposing it to the right people, you will get a space to be able to be yourself, your maximum self, which is your most beautiful self, okay? There's a beautiful TED Talk by Brené Brown on vulnerability. So I'd love for you to start to watch that. So just type Breen Brown TED Talk Vulnerability. It's a 17 minutes talk which will give you a lot of perspective on how to choose to be vulnerable and to who to be vulnerable with. If anybody ever shames you, please put them on the list of not to be vulnerable with this person. Okay?